Welcome back. Now we're going to take all of the joint exercises I defined earlier in previous videos, and we're going to combine that into a single flow. We're going to begin by settling into Wuji first, establishing a strong connection to the earth through our feet, a gentle bend of our knees, a gentle tucking of our tailbone, an elongation of our spine. The back of our head is lifted as though a string attached to the crown of our head, pulling us upright a little bit more. Our shoulders are relaxed and back. The palms traditionally face backwards, but for your shoulders, if it's more comfortable to bring the palms in or face them forward, that's fine. So we settle in and ground ourselves and just take 3 short calming breaths. Inhaling completely and exhaling completely. 2 more times. Inhaling and exhaling. And imagine with each exhale, you're settling into your feet a little bit more strongly, connecting with the earth a little bit more deeply. 1 more deep, calming breath. And now we'll move on to pulling down the heavens. And so we bring our palms up. Imagine that we're gathering a living gold color from the heavens and the environment around us. And then with our palms, we direct that cleansing flow down the front half of our body, releasing tension and stress deep into the earth through our feet. We take another deep breath, gathering living gold from the environment around us, filling our arms all the way up the shoulders. And then with our palms, we direct that cleansing flow down the back half of our body, releasing and letting go of anything that doesn't serve us through our feet deep in the earth. Another deep breath. And now we direct that flow of living gold color down through the center core of our body, releasing, letting go, and connecting more intimately with the earth. We'll do another set. Down the front. And now down the back. And down through the center core. 1 more set. Inhaling living gold from the environment around us. And direct that cleansing flow through our palms down the front half of our body. Releasing and letting go of anything that doesn't serve us deep in the earth through our feet. Another deep breath. And now we rinse down, wash down the back half of our body. And then 1 more deep breath. And now down through the center core. Good. Pause and feel. Settling back into Wuji. And now we'll begin with our hands. So we extend our hands forward, and we begin with the first knuckle, slowly rolling through each one. Building a gentle fist, and then relaxing and releasing, extending and spreading our fingers wide. Bringing our fingers in slowly, 1 knuckle at a time. And then 1 knuckle at a time, slowly releasing, extending, and spreading out. Once more for the physical movement. We integrate the breath, inhaling and exhale. Inhale, living gold into our fingers, into our palm. Exhale, release any tension or stress we may be feeling. And now, if you wish, you can begin to do a variation. Again, we're focused on the fingers, the thumb and the palm, and the joints that are included in these appendages. And we'll go once more, inhaling And exhaling. Good. Move on to the wrists. And so we begin, bring our wrists up and back down, allowing the wrists to lead. The fingers will follow. Allowing the breath to set the pace. Allowing your hands and wrists to move like an ocean wave. We integrate the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale directly into the wrist, creating space. Exhaling, letting go of any tension or stress we may be feeling, letting it go deep in the earth. And we'll go once more up and down. And then we'll turn our palms to face one another. And we'll focus now on the sides of our wrists. We integrate the breath. We're inhaling and exhaling. Nice slow, gentle movement, feeling into the wrists. Looking for the edge, but not necessarily trying to push past. Once more up and down. Now we'll bring our palms up. Palms are facing the ground, and we'll now begin the box, where we combine the first two movements into a single pattern. And when you're ready, we can integrate the breath, inhaling and exhaling. Inhale, living gold into the wrist. Exhale, releasing anything that doesn't serve us. Inhaling completely and exhaling fully. And when you're ready, we can begin rounding the corners. Moving slowly and deliberately. Feeling into the wrist. Using the breath to create space so that our wrist moves more freely and with less resistance. And exhaling, letting go of any tension or stress we may feel within our wrists. Let's go once more in this direction. And now we'll switch directions. And again, we begin with the box, combining the first two moves, focusing on opening the bottom and the top of the wrist on both sides. We integrate the breath, inhaling and exhaling. And when you're ready, we can begin rounding the corners. And once more in this direction. Good. Pause and settle back into Wuji. And just do a quick check on your wrists. How do they feel now? Now when you're ready, we'll move on to our elbows. And so we bring our palms up. And we begin by rolling our fingers in one at a time. Flex our wrist, flex the elbow. And we thread our hands down and back, creating a twist. And then we begin to unwind from the shoulders, through the elbows, through the wrists, reaching out either side through our fingertips. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. And we're inhaling a living gold color into our elbows. That's where our focus is right now. And as we exhale and release tension and stress, we're reaching out through our fingertips. And now this time we'll implement a subtle variation where instead of unwinding from the shoulders first, we reach out through our fingertips to initiate the unwinding. Inhaling and exhaling, reaching out through those fingertips, unwinding through the wrist, elbows, and then finally the shoulders. You may notice a subtle difference in this unwinding pattern. Let's go once more in this direction. Pause and feel. And now we'll reverse directions. Bringing our hands through, bringing our wrists together up to about shoulder level, and then we begin by reaching out through our little finger, then our ring finger, the middle finger, the index finger, and then finally extending out through our palms. Begin to inhale and exhale. Inhale, living gold into the elbows. Exhale and releasing tension and stress. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And we'll go once more in this direction. Allow your arms to drop to your sides, settle back into Wuji, pause and feel. You notice a difference? Let's move on to our shoulders. We begin by simply lifting our arm up, reaching back, working within the range of motion that's available to us. Keeping the hips rooted to the earth, limiting the rotation of our torso so that we're just focused on rotating through the glenohumeral joint. Moving slowly with the breath. And so we inhale, living gold into the shoulder joint. Exhale and release any tension or stress that we may be feeling. And then go deep in the earth. And again, focus on letting the breath set the pace. We focus on moving slowly so it allows us to feel more completely into the joint. With each breath in, we're creating space, allowing the shoulder to move with less resistance. And exhaling, we're letting go of anything that doesn't serve us. Anything that comes up, whether it's tension, stress, anxiety, fear, loneliness, past memory, whatever it is, just let it go with the breath. And we'll go once more in this direction. Good. And now we'll switch directions. Again, focus on keeping your hips rooted to the earth. Limit the rotation of your torso. Move within the pain-free range of motion that you have available to you in the shoulder. We're looking for edges, but we're not necessarily trying to push past. We integrate the breath by inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. You may find it difficult to limit the rotation of your torso. You may have difficulty limiting the rotation of your hips, but focus on just moving just from the shoulder itself and looking for edges, but not necessarily trying to push past. Inhaling and exhaling. Inhaling living gold into our shoulder. Exhaling and just letting go and releasing. Once more in this direction. Good. Pause and feel for just a moment and compare the shoulder that we were just moving to the shoulder that was fixed in place. Do you notice a difference? We'll now move on to the other shoulder. And again, we begin the same way, lifting, reaching back, grounding our hips to the earth, reducing or trying to limit the rotation of our torso, feeling into the shoulder joint. You may notice some subtle differences in this shoulder compared to the other one, which is very common. Oftentimes for people that are right-handed, the right shoulder is much looser and more open, and the left shoulder tends to be more tight. Focus isn't so much to judge yourself as is that by moving the shoulder joint, we help to promote the production of synovial fluid. We're helping you promote the intake of nutrients, while we're also promoting and facilitating the processing of waste products. And so we're inhaling living gold into the shoulder, exhaling and releasing. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Again, focus on going slowly. Allow the breath to set the pace. We'll go once more in this direction. And now we'll switch directions. Once we have the physical movement down, our hips are reconnected to the earth. We're limiting the rotation of our torso. Include the breath, and so we're inhaling fully and deeply and completely. And releasing the exhale completely and fully. And so we're inhaling, living gold into the shoulder. Exhaling, releasing and letting go. Let's go once more in this direction. Settle back into Wuji. Pause and feel and compare your shoulders. See how they feel now compared to when we start. We'll now move on to the scapular rotation or circles, or what I often call just the shoulder waves. So from Wuji, we allow our shoulders to roll inwards. We bring our shoulders up. We squeeze our shoulder blades or our scapulas together. And then we reach down with the scapulas towards the earth. We roll our shoulders in. Bring them up to our ears. Squeeze the scapulas together. And reach down with those scapulas toward the earth. We incorporate the breath. We begin by inhaling and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhaling living gold into our shoulder and scapular joints. Exhaling and releasing, letting go. Oftentimes, it's most difficult for people to reach down with their shoulders and scapula. It does take practice. I'll go once more in this direction. And now we'll switch directions. So we begin by squeezing our scapulas together, bringing them up, rolling our shoulders forward, and reaching down. Squeezing together, rising up, rolling forward, spreading our scapulas apart, and then reaching down. And we integrate the breath by inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Feel the wave in your shoulder as you move through each of the 4 points. Inhaling living gold into the region. Exhaling and releasing tension or stress that you may feel here. Let's go once more in this direction. Settle back into Wuji. Pause and feel. Take a calming breath or two just to settle back into the earth, reconnecting with your body. And now we'll move on to our neck exercises. And so I tend to interlock my thumbs and just rest them on my navel in a relaxed manner. Keeping my shoulders back and in a neutral posture. Settling back into Wuji. And we'll begin by just taking a nice deep breath. And we'll begin by looking to your right. Breathing back into center. Exhaling and looking to your left. Inhaling more living gold into your cervical spine. Exhaling and looking back to your right again. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And we'll go once more to either side. Back to center. And now we'll begin by bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. Breathing back into center. And now your left ear to your left shoulder. Inhaling fully and completely into the cervical spine. And then exhaling slowly. Try to keep the movement isolated just within your cervical spine. Avoid lifting your shoulder up to meet your ear. The range of motion should be pain-free. The movements should be slow and gentle, allowing the breath to set the pace. Moving slowly with intention to feel into our cervical spine and release the tension we may be feeling there. moving with deliberation and kindness for ourselves. Let's go once more to your right, once more to your left. Breathe back in the center. Take a nice calming breath, settling back into Wuji again. And now we'll begin by allowing our chin to drop to our chest. Inhale and breathe back into center. And then exhale slowly as you raise your eyes to the sky. Inhale back to center. Allow your chin to drop to your chest. Inhale back to center. And as we exhale, we raise our eyes to the sky. Again, our shoulders are immovable or are not moving. We're trying to isolate the movement just within our cervical spine. By moving more slowly and deliberately, it's easier to feel not only into the cervical spine, but also to bring awareness to what's going on with your shoulders and the rest of your body as you try to isolate this movement just within your cervical spine. You're inhaling and exhaling. Inhale and exhale. One more round, inhaling and exhaling. Back to center. Settle back into Wuji and pause for a calming breath, settling back into the Wuji pose. And now we'll begin neck retraction, which again, the easiest way to do this is to imagine somebody's placed a finger on your nose and is pushing your head straight back. And then they grab your nose and they pull your head straight forward. And so we inhale slowly to the center position, and then exhale, retract our neck, creating that double chin. Inhaling back to center, and then extending our head forward. Again, the movement is isolated to just within the cervical spine. So try to keep from rocking your shoulders and torso forward and back. And just keep the movement isolated to your cervical spine. We'll go once more forward and back. Good. Breathe back in the center. Pause and feel. Take a calming breath, settling back into Wuji. We bring our hands again to rest on our belly, and we begin our neck circles. Moving slowly, starting small, gradually expanding the circle, staying within a pain-free range of motion. We integrate the breath by inhaling living gold into our cervical spine, exhaling and letting go of any tension, stress we may be feeling. We'll go once more in this direction. And now we'll switch directions. Inhaling and exhaling. Move slowly and deliberately, feeling into your neck, looking for those edges but not pushing past. Inhaling living gold into our cervical spine, exhaling and releasing, letting go. Try to keep your shoulders stable and unmoving. And we'll go once more in this direction. Good. Pause and feel. Settle back into Wuji. A couple deep calming breaths to settle into your structure, settle into the Wuji pose, or the Wuji posture. And now we'll place our hands on our hips and we'll begin waist circles. So again, it's best to start out small, rotating through, and so now we're focused on facilitating the movement of the thoracic and the lumbar spine. Moving slowly and deliberately, we integrate the breath, inhaling living gold into our spine, exhaling and releasing, letting go. Inhaling fully and then exhaling. Once more in this direction. And now we'll switch directions. Inhaling and exhaling. Start out small. Gradually increase the size. Looking and feeling into your spine. Looking for those edges of those areas where there might be a little bit of pain. Back off a little bit and focus your breath on that area. To breathe living gold into that point. Exhale and release the tension, the stress, or the pain that you may be feeling there. Let the breath set the pace. And we'll go once more in this direction. We'll pause, feel, settle back into the Wuji posture. Take a couple calming breaths, settling back into the earth, reconnecting. And now we'll move to our hips. So we bring our hands, it's about the same location again, but this time we get to move our hips. Slow, gentle circle. Feeling into both hips. Looking for tension. Integrating the breath as that we're inhaling living gold into both hip joints. Exhaling and letting go and releasing deep into the earth anything that doesn't serve us. Moving slowly and deliberately, feeling into the hip joints. Integrating the breath. And we'll go once more in this direction. Pause, and now we'll switch directions. You may notice a subtle difference as we change directions in one or both hips. We integrate the breath, inhaling living gold into both hip joints. Exhaling, letting go and releasing. And we'll go once more in this direction. Pause, feel, settle into Wuji and reconnect. Check in with both hips to see if you notice a difference now. Take a few calming breaths. And now we're ready to move on to the knees. And so we will bring our feet together. The ankles don't necessarily need to touch, but if you can, you want to keep a lifted arch in your feet if at all possible. We settle our weight into our heels. We place our hands just above our knees. And we begin simply a down and up or a forward and back motion where we're settling back into our heels as if we're sitting down. And then we rise back up. We keep a gentle bend in our knees throughout this experience. We're never fully extending our knees to a point that we lock the joint out. We're in a pain-free range of motion. Your leg muscles may be complaining, and that's fine. This is a good way to stimulate growth in many of the muscles within your legs. But for the most part, we're focused now just on the knee joint itself. Inhaling living gold into the knee. Exhaling and releasing tension and stress. Try to keep the pressure equal in both heels. And we'll go once more forward and back. Good. Pause. We'll create a bend in our knees, and now we'll begin our knee circles. Going slowly. And again, not fully locking out the joint into extension. Also, trying to keep the weight in the heels as much as we can. Moving slowly and deliberately, which with this exercise is very hard to do. Inhaling living gold into our knee joint. Exhaling and releasing tension. We'll go once more in this direction. And now we'll switch directions. Again, trying to keep the weight in the heels as much as possible. And once more in this direction. Good. Rise back up. Settle into the Wuji pose. Pause and feel. Take a few calming breaths. And we'll move on now to our ankles. And as I've done before, I mentioned a seat is good because we want to focus primarily on moving our ankle. We don't want to spend a lot of time focusing on managing to try to maintain our balance. But gradually, as we progress through these exercises, ultimately we want to be able to do this standing on one leg while we actually go through the exercises. But for now, we'll focus on just the ankle movement itself. You can rest your heel on the floor or raise your leg, whatever's most comfortable for you. We begin with dorsiflexion first, which is we bring our toes towards us, and then we move to plantar flexion where we push our toes away from us. A slow, gentle movement. Inhaling living gold into the ankle. Exhaling and releasing. Slow and deliberate. Feeling into the ankle. Looking for any edges, but not necessarily trying to push past. And we'll go once more backwards and forwards. Good. And now we'll begin our ankle circle. Moving slowly and deliberately. This is a hard exercise to do slowly. But the slower that you move, the more that you'll learn about your ankle. So it's not uncommon for the ankle to move more smoothly in some aspects than others. In some areas, it's easier to create a circle than it is others. And so there may be some corners. Your circle may look more like a square or a rectangle. And that's okay. With practice, you can change that. Let's go once more in this direction. Pause, and now we'll switch directions. Moving slowly and deliberately, letting the breath set the pace. Inhaling for one revolution, exhaling for the next revolution. Try to keep the movement isolated just within the ankle itself. Once more in this direction. Good. Go ahead and shake it out. Pause and feel for a moment. Compare the ankle that we were just moving to the other ankle. You may notice a difference. Take a few calming breaths. And when you're ready, we'll extend the foot of our other leg. And we'll begin with dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. Moving slowly and deliberately. Inhaling and exhale. And once more backwards and forwards. Good. Now we'll begin our circles. Moving slowly and deliberately. Isolating the movement just within the ankle itself. Inhaling, living gold into the ankle. And exhaling and releasing. Try to slow it down. And once more in this direction. Good. And now we'll switch directions. It's not uncommon to hear noises. If there's no pain associated with it, it's usually just your body's way of letting you know that a little bit more attention needs to be paid to this part of your body. Needs a little bit more care and feeding, a little bit of stretching. You can allow the breath to set the pace. You slowly and deliberately let your focus beyond the joint that we're moving right now. Feeling into it. Looking for the edges. Inhaling living gold into the ankle joint. Exhaling and releasing. And once more in this direction. Good. Shake it out. Rise back up. Settle into Wuji. Pause and feel. Take a few calming breaths. And then begin just a basic reassessment, starting at your fingertips, through the palm, through the wrist, through the elbows, through the shoulders, from the cervical spine, down the thoracic spine, to the lumbar spine, to our hips, to our knees, and to our ankles. Pause and feel. We'll finish up this session now with gather the chi and return to the origin. We'll begin slowly by inhaling living gold first from the earth through our heels, filling our body all the way up to the shoulders. We rotate our palms facing the heavens, and we continue to gather more living gold from the environment around us as well as the heavens until we're overflowing at the crown. And so we stack our palms And we compress all that energy that we've gathered into our spine as we lift the perineum or the pelvic floor. The excess that's available here at the crown, we pull that down first to the upper dantian to top it off. We then top off the middle dantian. And then finally, whatever we have left over, we leave in the lower dantian. We seal it all in. Release. Begin again. Drawing living gold from the earth. Drawing more living gold from the environment and the heavens. We're overflowing, so we compress all that we've gathered through the crown of the head while lifting the perineum. We pull the excess first to our upper dantian, then down to the middle dantian, and then finally everything that's left over we leave in the lower dantian. We seal and release. One more time, drawing living gold from the earth, filling our body, drawing more living gold from the environment around us, compressing all that we've gathered at the crown, bringing the excess first to our upper dantian to balance it out, then to the middle dantian to balance it out, and then finally we leave everything left over in the lower dantian to balance it out. We seal and release, settle back into Wuji for a calming breath. And then we bring our feet together, interlock our thumbs, and place them over our navel. We close our eyes for a few short, calming breaths. Thankful for the opportunity today to practice together. Thankful for the fact that we can still move our joints and know that we can bring some measure of healing into our life. Thank you again for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. There's more to follow. Again, thank you very much. Have a great day.